today's survival show video channel. I'd like to help you harness the power of choice to live the life you want, and I say that a lot on my podcast. And I want to talk about entitlement thinking today. First of all, I'm sorry I haven't posted a YouTube video in a while. But this is kind of a precursor to my upcoming episode and my upcoming podcast. I want to talk about entitlement thinking. One of the reasons I want to discuss this is my 12-year-old son recently asked me some questions about the entitlement process here in the United States. And I thought, hey, what a great question for a 12-year-old to be asking, huh? It means that he's thinking. I like the fact that his brain is churning. And he was hearing a lot of things about the national debt, and he wanted to know how that impacted our ability to survive and so forth. And we started talking about the trillions of dollars of national debt. And when I explained to him how much $1 trillion is, and that we're several $1 trillion in debt, he was pretty horrified by that. And I firmly believe, now I'm going to give you a little opinion here and kind of put some conjecture in this. I firmly believe that, our entitlement mentality that we've grown up with for many, many years is why we're in this jam that we're in right now. And I think it goes back several years. I don't think it's just something that's recent. We can't blame President Obama for anything or for everything. Okay? Let's not blame the president for everything. Just like people blame George Bush for everything. I think that's garbage. You also can't blame President Obama for everything. This goes back many, many, many years. This goes back through generations. I'm 49 years old at the time that I'm shooting this video, which is in January of 2011. My generation was taught, guess what? Social Security is going to be there for you when you retire. We all know that's a farce, in my opinion. Social Security is not going to be there for me when I'm 65 years old. I'm not counting on it, nor should we. I don't know if you know this, folks, but Social Security was never meant to be a permanent part of our nation's budget. It was only supposed to help people through some difficult times. They were supposed to do away with it. Unfortunately, greedy politicians got their hands in there and messed it up, and they started raiding that fund. And there really isn't the trust fund, folks. That's false. That's a subject for another video. But this entitlement mentality, and my parents were also taught that probably Social Security is going to be there for them. And sure enough, my parents are at retirement age, and guess what? They're drawing Social Security. Great, it worked out for them. Now, my parents' my grandparents' generation, they were not taught that. And so I think that as people that are my age and people that are my parents' age have come into power, they were raised with that entitlement thinking that Medicare, Social Security, unemployment insurance, all that's going to take care of you. How good of a job is the government really doing at taking care of you? If you're watching this video and you're on government assistance, I'm not knocking you. I'm not saying you're a bad person. Do you like your lifestyle? Maybe you do. I don't know. I mean, unemployment's recently been raised to what, like 199 weeks? 3 years or something like that you can draw it. We are creating a terrible mess by paying people for not working for 3 years. And I'm not just blaming one political party. This is not supposed to be a political message. We're now paying for what we committed to many, many years ago. One of my listeners to my podcast emailed me and had a huge disagreement with me about the fact that previous commitments and previous entitlements that we've promised to people, he tried to tell me it's not a contributing factor to the economic situation that we're in here in the United States. I completely disagree. I think it is. I think it's a big part of it. And the spending that our politicians have promised us over the years. Again, let's go back 50, 60 years or so. All right? In the 1960s, in the early 1960s is when they really, really ratcheted up the spending and the entitlement programs. That's when it really started to accelerate. And I think we're paying for it now. And if we don't stop this theory, if we don't stop this mantra of paying for people, and for years and years and years, and for paying people for unemployment and their retirement and their pension programs and their health insurance, If the government doesn't quit doling out money to people and making them think it. See, I think the entitlement mentality, it's a flawed process in someone's thought. I really believe that. It's a flawed process in somebody's thought. They come to expect it. And Benjamin Franklin often questioned whether people were going to be able to keep the republic that was newly formed. And I think right now in the year 2011, I would say probably we're at the risk of losing this great republic. So I want to urge you as a survivalist, as a modern survivalist, as somebody who is a common sense kind of a person. And most of you know I'm all about common sense. I don't like to get into tinfoil hat, weird type thinking on my show. My show called Today's Survival Show. I like to keep it rooted in common sense, and I think I do a fairly good job of that. Well, the next podcast you're going to hear is called The Day That the Dollar Died, and it's a fictitious event. It's about a fictitious event about the day that the U.S. dollar died and crashed. Now, you might think, well, boy, Bob, that sounds a little far-fetched. Listen to the podcast. It's episode 127, I believe, The Day the Dollar Died. And I think you'll be quite intrigued by what really could happen. I don't want to scare you. I don't want to be an alarmist. But just think about it. I really hope that what I cover in that show, I hope it doesn't happen. And I'm not the only one speaking in that show. You're going to hear an audio clip from another source. And when you listen to the show, you'll hear who that source is. But start preparing, folks. And I want to urge you to start treating your personal finances and try to get them in order. Don't do what the government's doing. Start preparing. Don't look at yourself as an entitlement type of a person either. Do for yourself. That's what this is all about. Do for yourself. And I think you'll be a lot happier for it, and I think you'll be a lot more productive person for it. So, check out The Day That the Dollar Died, episode 127 on Today's Survival Show. And you can find that at www.todayssurvival.com. You can also search Today's Survival Show on YouTube, and we have an excellent forum with a lot of people talking about subjects like this. So I'll get more into depth here on this entitlement mentality problem that we have. I just urge you to check it out, and I urge you to think seriously about what's being covered in that. So thanks again for watching me here on YouTube. Have a good day. Start preparing. And if you don't know where to start, that's okay. Listen to my show. There's some good ideas on there. I'm Bob Main. This is Today's Survival Show YouTube channel. It's my goal to help you harness the power of choice to live the life you want. Thanks, folks.